Look at me.
Why do people do that when they look at me? I don't understand.
Oh my gosh.
Take it
You're
back.
perfect. You're fabulous.
Yep.
How do I look?
You look great.
Good. I should have worn white. We have a lot of pristine white going on here.
This is exciting.
It is exciting.
It's a little bit of a problem.
Why?
Well, there's baby seals everywhere. Tempting, taunting.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You'll be okay. So we're going to make baby seals. And we have a kit, and we're going to show you the tutorial. It's a great beginner project. We used to have a little ornament kit. It was $8. It made one, and it had an armature. And they were about this size and looked a lot like this. But since we made the sleepy mice and the sleepy squirrels, I thought I'm going to do a seal on the zuly tool, which is this. And it worked great. No armature. So much easier. So, you know, we're always evolving, always learning. You can find the kit and the zuly tool, and if you're just getting started, you will also need felting needles and the needle felting surface. This is called Stab It Wab It, and you fill it with rice, and they're all at SarafinaFiberArt.com. And then once you have all your stuff, this is, like I said, a great beginner project. I'm going to go step by step. The kit makes at least 5 or 6. I've made these 3 from one kit, and I still have half left. So you'll get several. So that makes it a fun kit to get when you're starting out, because every time you make one, you're going to get it just like a little better and a little better. Or you could have a party and do it with friends. So
that would be fun.
do make the seals with friends. And what else do I need to say?
I'm not sure. I have a question.
Okay.
What did the seal study in school?
What did the seal study in school? Oh my gosh. I don't know what.
Art.
That's a good one.
That might be the best we've got.
That's right up my alley. You used the best joke first?
Yes.
Oh, geez.
It's all downhill from here,
Okay.
people.
Okay. No, it's not. It's going to be great. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, you ready, Milo? We are ready.
We got our kit. And needles and felting surface.
Hope everyone has their sense of humor.
Or tolerance. So there's a big wad of core wool in this kit, and that's how we start. And then there's a bundle of accent colors. So this is your whiter white. It's whiter than the core wool. And then black, a couple shades of gray for the accents. They're pretty simple, so not tons of colors, but a nice amount of wool. So to start out, we're using off-white chunky core here. Sometimes it's a little thicker than others. So I'm gonna say, give you an amount, but like this feels a little bit thinner than what I was using the last time I worked from a kit. So you might just need a little more wool is what I'm saying. So we want to start with a 9-inch piece, which is about the side of your felting surface. And we're going to split that into 4 lengths. So you start in the middle, make a little window in the middle, and then pull apart from there. And that'll give you a nice smooth pull. You won't have any fuzz or fringe. And then each of these 4 pieces is going to build the initial head and body. So on the zuly tool, you're going to wrap this last straight inch of the round side. You're going to work here and on the facet. Now, these zuly tools are handmade, so some of them have a longer tip than mine does. That's okay. You don't go all the way to the end. You just still follow the instructions for the wrap right within this 1.5 inches here. So I want to wrap tight and smooth. We have a lot of tutorials. Maybe there's I'm trying to think if it's the techniques or getting started, where I explain wrapping. It takes a little bit of practice, but basically you want to keep this like a ribbon, nice and smooth and flat, and pull tightly. And if you're right-handed, you're going to hold your armature or your tool in your left hand and wrap with your right hand away from you. If you're left-handed, you're going to do it like I'm doing it. So switch it around if you're right-handed. What's most important is that when you wrap, you're pulling the wool away from you. It's hard to wrap it towards yourself, because then you're like throwing it in your own face, and it's also harder to get a nice little tug on it. So that is wrapping 101. So I go around the flat part, and then I want to hit the angle, the facet. I'll kind of come up around it and then back down. And I want to do that several times. I'm just drafting it out a little bit. Just smoothing it out, because it can end up to be too big of a chunk. And so I'm going to hit the angle and then come back down. Now this is a little bit small. But that's okay. We're going to keep going. And I'm just going to add a little more wool. Then the second piece, you want to wrap this 2 inches right behind the head here. So I'm going to start 2 inches from the back of the head. This is his nose out here. I'm going to wrap towards the head, just touch it, and then wrap back. Don't let it keep, hold your hands here so it doesn't keep traveling back farther and farther. Third piece, we're going to do the same thing. And go back. Whenever you're making a shape on the zuly tool, it's good to go out and back, because that's what holds this structure. If you just go one direction, it's just going to unspiral. I probably should have reminded people, since this is a beginner video, that it's always a good idea to watch the tutorial first. Especially this one, it's not very long. Watch it, get the roadmap in your brain of where you're headed, and then you've seen where it's going and you'll understand it, and then it'll be easier to do it. Okay, the fourth piece, I'm going to start at the back. I'm going to come up the body, and then this time I'm going to keep going and wrap the head some more. And so this final piece brings the head and the body together. There still is probably like a little dent where there wasn't quite as much wool. And I'm just going to stab it a little bit before I slide it off.
Don't hit that zuly tool.
I know, you don't want to nick it up. So this is a little bit on the small side. It is going to get bigger because we add a lot more pieces, but just so you know, if your wool started out kind of wider and chunkier, yours is going to be a little bit bigger than this, even if you're working with the same 9 inches. Okay, so now we have this shape, and hopefully it doesn't pull apart. And you can stretch the tail out a little bit. You want the body to be a little wider up towards the head and narrow out towards the tail. So I'm just going to stab that a little bit. See, I'm just letting it taper. And then I'm looking at the head, to see which direction I want it to go. And I feel like this is a little bit rounder here. So I'm going to make this the top of the head and this the bottom of the head. And then on the tip of the nose, I want to put it down. I'm putting the top of the head down on the felting surface. And I want to stab back into that tip at about a 45-degree angle. A straight line. Up and down. And what that's starting to do is to build this little muzzle. It's going to get more pieces, but we have to stab back on this tip so that it doesn't, fringe out like this end did. So now he's already got a little nose starting to shape. You can even stab a little mouth smile. You can use a single needle. I've got 2 needles in this pen tool here. Can you see that, Milo?
Yep.
So now I'm going to stab around this 1/2 inch area of the, here I'll just use a single needle, it's probably what most people have. This bottom 1/2 inch, I'm just getting a stray hair out of here. I'm going to just stab around, make it a little smaller. Because that's my nose right there. Okay, now we're going to take a 4-inch piece of wool. I just usually grab it with my hand and then tug, and that gives you about 4 inches. The zuly tool has markers on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. And we're going to split it into 4. The first thing we're going to do is wrap a 1-inch section of the flat part of the zuly tool. So just straight around, probably 3 times, like that, and then slide that off. And you have a little pillow, and that's going to become the chest. So I want to put it the rolled side to side, and I'm going to stab it down, the fringy end down, and that makes a little bit more of a chest here. See how different they are? But I want to stick to the measurements that I picked because everybody's core wool might be a slightly different thickness. Okay? Then you have 2 more. I have 2 more kind of smaller feeling pieces, so I'm going to use these 2. And we're going to make the back fins, I guess. I don't know what they're called. Should have looked that up.
I could do that.
Well, so we're going to make these on the round side of the zuly tool. And I'm just going to wrap the flat area and then hit the facet. And I'm going to do that 2 times. So I'm just drafting this out so that I have a nice long thin piece to do this. And I want this to be nice and smooth. And then I slide it off. And now because this tool has a thickness, there's space in here, so now I can flatten it out. I just want to stab it flat, preserving that point and that shape. Leave this fringe.
You know what another word for a seal is? Well, not another word, but it's not a joke.
A sea lion?
No,
Is
they
a sea
have
lion
a, they
different?
are, hang on. There's a group of animals called pinnipeds. Have you ever heard that?
No, maybe that's what this little thing is.
So pinniped, pinna means feather and ped means foot in Latin.
Ah, good old Latin.
So
Latin
there's
roots.
walrus, sea lions, and seals.
What are manatees?
Oh no.
Tell me, oh great one. Pinnipeds.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah. So you can take a look at them and see, you know, what looks right. They might have a little curve to them. And then they want to go under the body. So you can start out by just putting the body on top and stabbing it a bit. There needs to be an overlap. And then flip it over, and then you can really get these attached well.
They're calling them flippers.
Flippers.
So they have a torpedo-shaped body and powerful flat flippers,
Okay.
which is what scuba divers model their own feet after.
Yeah.
You know the flippers.
Yes. Their own feet.
Their own feet.
Okay, you starting to see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Seals have blubber. Did you know that?
Yes. We have one more 4-inch quarter. So what I want you to do is called restacking. Pull it apart and restack it until it's about 2 inches by 2 inches. Like this. Uh-oh. We might have to pause.
We have happenings.
We might have to pause.
All right. Where
Okay.
where were you?
We have our little 2-inch square that we've restacked of core, and now we need some of the top coat. So I'm going to unwrap the bundle and put a little thin layer, even thin layer of white on top of this off-white. Then I want to turn it over so that the white is on the bottom. And I'm going to put these fibers, they're running vertically. I'm going to stab across the center. This is called a taco. Stab across the center, fold this over, and stab it together. Just a little bit. You don't have to go too crazy. See how it's still real poofy? Like you don't want to flatten it into a pancake. You just want to get it to hold together a little bit. And then I'm going to put the taco. What shape is going to do is start to round the back half of the head a little bit. So I'm going to put you've got a round folded edge and a fringy edge. I'm going to put the round folded edge on top of the head, centered, right where that line, that 1/2 inch of nose and then head is, right on that line. And tack it down, tack the edge down a little bit. See that? And then this is going to come around underneath the chin, basically. So you're kind of like wrapping the little head like a little bonnet. And then the fringe just gets tacked down. So you can see how it starts to make more of a seal-shaped head. Let the fringe blend into the body.
So you're not really stabbing at the top of the head there.
You can, a
Just
little
the
bit. You
front.
can stab around. Just kind of getting it nice and rounded. Okay, now we need to make these 2 flippers. So we need to take another, take like a 3-inch piece of core wool, which is kind of like you're just trying to pull the least amount that you can off of the whole chunk of core. So we're just about done one seal with core wool, and you can see how much is left. So you're going to be able to make lots and lots of them. Take 2.
What's next?
We're going to make fins. I just made them wrong. That's why we're giggling. So now we're going to make them right. For you, we're refilming. You need about a 3-inch piece of core, which is a little less than that fistful that we did for the 4-inch piece. Basically, you grab the end and try to just pull it you know, let it separate, and that'll be your 3-inch piece. And then we want to, I think it's easier to rip it in half this way actually. Split this in half and then restack. Kind of like what we did for the head, except we're working with a little bit more wool here. It's going to be kind of a puffy 2-inch square. This is what I forgot first time around, was some white on top. So I'm just pulling from the end, getting a nice even piece, and making sure it's covered but not, you don't want it bulky, just a thin layer of white. Now to make this shape, we're going to stab into our felting surface. So I want to flip these over so that the white is on the bottom. And we need to make symmetrical shapes, but one to each side. So you want a straight side, and then an angle, and then straight again. And these are going to be these front flippers. So you see how it has this angle here. So to do that, you can use the zuly tool, and you're going to use this to make the angle. So you want it at about, you can kind of center the zuly tool in this shape of wool. Your fibers are running horizontally, and stab, just follow the outline of one side. Try not to stab your tool. And then instead of following the outline of the other side, you're just going to make a straight line from that tip. So you got the angle on this side, and you've got the straight line on this side. Can you see over here too?
Yes.
Okay. So now I want to make this one the other way. So I've got the angle on the right side and the straight line on the left side. Still about 1 inch wide. When you're making a shape on your felting surface and you're stabbing into the felting surface, it's really cool because it embeds it a little bit so that when you fold this over, it's going to fold where you stabbed. So that's what you want to do. You want to draw your shape and then fold the fiber in following the lines. So I think it's better to do the straight side first. And then the angle. And then this angle. So now that white, that pretty white, is all on the outside of your shape. And then you got to lift it up once in a while to make sure it's not getting too embedded. And then you can kind of keep stabbing. If you have a punch tool, this is a great time to use the punch tool on a big broad flat piece like this. It has 5 fine needles. Makes quick work of a flat surface. So I'm going to move this over so that you can really see. Do it again. Fold the straight side first. Then that angle. Then this angle.
What did the seal say when it swam into a concrete wall?
Ow. I don't know. What are you doing here?
It said, damn.
That's funny. Two fins. I thought a lot about which way these should go. Probably should just looked at more pictures. Where's my seal? Here it is. So I'm going to put the angle forward and the straight side back. Wait. What do you think? No, the straight side forward and the angle back.
For his little flippery
Or the
things.
angle forward and the straight side forward. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. And then the fringe just is going to be the blender. And if it seems real long, then just back, you can pull some off, but you can also just back it up, you know, attach it in a different place.
Then he is plumper.
Plumper fins. But these are going on top, on his back. A little too fuzzy there. I gotta just felt it a little bit more. Get them nice and even. So now we have all of our shapes, and it's time to just put the top coat and coloring on and details like the eyes. You could really pinch these together if you want them to be more kind of upright. Just felt them down more.
So for any beginners, the angle that you stab from makes a big difference.
Yeah, it shapes the... It's like you're sculpting when you're stabbing. So funny. Okay, let's get some white on the body and then we'll address the face. So I'm going to take a nice about 6-inch piece of the whiter white, and then break it into 4 strips. Just easier to work with. Sometimes I give them a little smoothing so when I wrap it's nice and even. And then on the back flippers, this is actually going to help. It's going to put the white color on there as well as help them stick to the body better. So I can go around the body and then go out a flipper. Keep it just flat and smooth, and then come back. If that's a little tricky, the wrapping, feel free to, I'll show you a different way to do it if that feels like you're not getting it nice and smooth and even. You can lay some fiber on the flipper, felt it down from the top, a little bit more. It's a little wimpy in that one spot. There we go. And then just flip it over and just fold this following the shape of the flipper.
The more you wrap, the better you'll get.
Yeah. Yep. So either way is fine. They both get wool onto the flipper. Okay, then we're going to take another piece and just wrap the body here, this back part of the body. And then with another piece, I'm just going to take some of it, about half of it, and restack. And kind of go over the, where the front fins attached, flippers attached. It's all like holding it on even more, just holding everything together even more. And then under here, it's up to you. You could go this way. You could go across, which would incorporate the flippers even more because it'll stab into them as well. But this is just stabbing. It's pretty simple. It's just a lot of stabbing. Probably need a little bit more on the back of the head in this case. Sometimes your taco piece will have enough, but this needs a little bit of white. It's looking a little off-white. I'm stabbing gingerly here because I don't want to misshape the head when I put this on. Alright, I'll felt that more once I get some features on here. So the next thing that I would like to do is put the eyes and the nose, and it's just 3 little folded shapes out of black. So it's less than you think. It's like a little, I'll break this into 3. Took like an inch, broke it into 3, and I'll see what this does for me. Alright, we're going to take these little pieces. It's like this. I'm trying to give you a visual. And just roll it on itself. So I'm folding it over, then I'm folding the sides in, and I'm trying to make a little ball. And I got a little bit much. Little ball. It's bigger than a BB, smaller than a pea. And then they will become eyes. You want them to get tucked into that seam where we attached the head taco. What other craft do you get to say head taco?
I know.
It looks a little big. That's okay. It's going to get another piece around it. And they're all, allowed to be a little bit different. So I already know this is a little bit much, so I'm taking some of it off. Such beautiful light today in my home.
The sun is out. Started out dreary today.
I know. Did the same thing yesterday. Dressed for like misty and 60, and then it became humid and 85. Oh no, that eye was a little misshapen, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep stabbing so that you can see how you can control it.
You have control with the needle.
You have the power over the wool. Takes a while to learn it, but alright, so it's a little bug eyes right now. It's okay. I'm not worried. Alright, third one, same thing. This is going to be the nose. This time I'm going to roll it, and like it's okay if there's like a kind of a little point instead of perfectly round, because the little point will come down into, sorry, I'm sure it's a little bit hard to see, into what is the muzzle. And then the flat part will be top of the nose. Always work stabbing towards your felting surface. You can put your critter any way that you need it to be to do so. This way, this way, this way. But you don't want to get in the habit of holding it in your hand.
You will stab yourself.
You will stab yourself, and you won't get the right shapes because you need to come at it with some support behind it. This is where it gets a little tricky for me to film because I have to lean in. Okay, now there's 3 little shapes to make to do this coloring that I found works the best, I think. The first one is a little triangle. So if we lay our if we lay our fiber out side to side, like this, we're going to stab a little triangle and then fold this fiber in until we have a shape like this. So, I'm going to do that with a little bit of coral wool and a little bit of white on top. This is a really small amount. This is a tiny little, we're putting this from, what it's doing basically is making a bridge of the nose, like this. You can kind of see it on this seal. I like his little face. He's got a good little face. And so this is a tiny little space we're filling right here. So it doesn't need to be a lot of wool. Think square inch. Let me restack this. Okay, so I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to draw a center line. It's kind of helpful just to tell yourself that's the center. And then a nice broad triangle. I'm working real time here, so you really shouldn't stab much more than I am. Now, this is going to do two things. It's going to fill in this big divot a little bit, but if we bring these rounded edges around, it can also make little eyebrows. Like the rounded edge comes over each eye. So I'm going to start by tacking the tip down right on top of the nose. Sorry, I have to lean in a little. So I'm just tacking the tip down right on the nose. And then you see how these little round edges become eyebrows? I'm just letting the fringe kind of fan out and then shape around the eye here.
Oh, he looks angry on that side.
Yeah, that's because it's rocked forward. You gotta bring the brow back around to make them not look angry. Hey, Milo,
What?
do seals have ears?
Some do, some don't.
Really?
Yes.
Depending on what?
Well, if it's a seal or a sea lion, maybe.
Oh, okay. Okay? See how that little shape just makes his face super cute? Then, if we take the gray, you have a gray, and you have an oatmeal. If I were nice, I would have given you a gray in between the two, but I'm going to make you blend them together. And we're going to make little folded 1 second. 1 second, Milo.
Okay, here's your answer. Seals differ from sea lions in that seals have no external ears. Sea lions apparently have little ears.
Yeah, I can picture that. Okay. We're going to fold little poofs. We are now making muzzle poofs.
All right.
Okay? Out of gray. Can you see all these little cute seals looking at
I'm
me?
a little zoomed in. So pull them forward. There we go.
Zoom out for a second. Why do Okay.
I will. Hang on. I'm taking
Okay.
everyone for a ride here.
Okay.
All right. They're very cute.
Okay, see how little this piece is? It's like the piece we started out with for the eyeball and the nose. I'm going to split it in half. And then just in my hands, what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking one rounded edge and one fringy edge as I fold. I can even I could stab it a little bit just to get it. Can you see that?
Yes, I'm zooming back in
Okay,
for you
sorry.
to do it again.
So I'm just folding one side over, another side over, and the top over. And so it's like I'm making a teeny tiny little ghost. We haven't made a ghost yet in this video. But so, because what I'm going for is a rounded edge and a fringy edge. It's so hard to say. And I want the rounded edge to go right up against the nose, accentuating the muzzle. Fringy edge heads back the face.
Can you move up like 1 inch?
Yes.
It's not your head even. It's
I know.
No, your head's okay.
Well, my head's gonna have to be up in here. See how I'm bringing them together? They kiss under the nose, these little muzzle poof ghosts. My little nose is so crooked. It's so funny. It is like going, but I don't care. Let me get rid of some of this. Just get rid of it. Sometimes I try to stab it in, but never mind, I'm stabbing it in. I don't have any scissors. Alright, why is my nose pointing that way? See those little muzzle poofs? Now, we're almost done. With your oatmeal, and you can mix maybe a little bit of gray into it. I'm going to mix them. I just grabbed a little bit. I'm just going to restack until they're mixed. And then I'm going to take it, a little piece, a little like gossamer. When you blend, you want it to be like a little gossamer glaze. And I'm just going to put it to where it softens that dark edge. Make a little mouth right there. You know, we could fold, I think what I did, see, it's like gray, off-white, white. So I just want to take that away by putting a thin color over all of it on this very crooked nose.
That's better. It's less crooked.
No, it's not. It's totally not. Then I can take the white too and make a little ghost poof in my hand. Sorry, I usually like to give much more specific instructions, but this is just the way this works because it's such a small amount, and you can make a little white chin. You kind of needed a little white chin. Look at pictures too. So cute. You might see some abuse on the internet if you Google baby seals.
Oh,
Ignore that. I mean, don't ignore it, but I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying.
so did you know what baby seals are called? Not a joke.
They're not pups?
They are pups.
They are pups?
And the white seal pups are harp seals.
Okay.
It's very
seals.
important that they're white so they blend in with their surroundings because their mother leaves them at 4 to 5 weeks to deal.
She got stuff to do.
She's out.
Well, she's going to the swinger party, like you said.
The seals really like being around each other. Big groups.
I like this little seal I'm making. There's one more thing. A little white dot in the eye.
Wait, what about the flipper marks?
You know, I'm torn
You
on
don't
the
like
flipper
'em?
marks. Well, let's see. So this guy has little flipper marks. You could do it.
Cute without too.
Yeah. It's, I would take the gray, a real little bit, and just kind of twist it into a thread, and then just stab. This represents kind of the dent between the flipper fingers. And then the other end of it comes around the other side. I don't know. I didn't do as much research as I usually do. I guess because I thought these were just simple little things. But I don't know how many should there be. If you
I
make
don't
3
know.
lines, that's like 4 fingers. We do this on the baby seals. I mean the sleepy squirrels too. Make the little toe fingers. Toes, I guess that would be.
Yeah, but these are flipper fingers.
Foot fingers. Oh gosh.
I interrupted you. You were gonna do the dot in the eye.
Well, now I am doing this. Thought I was done. It is cute.
It's cute.
You were right. That's why I stick with you. That's why I need you in my life.
I love you.
I need you.
Art.
Okay. White dot. It is a teeny, teeny, tiny bit of wool. And you roll it in your hands, fingers, until you have teeny, tiny little dots. And they need to stay teeny, tiny. If you make them too big, they look weird. So find a 40 twist or 42, we now have, and stab. Just keep stabbing in the same exact spot, and it will go down into that spot. So I started with something this size, and I made it that size.
You gotta use a fine gauge needle or your eyeball will get sucked right into the head.
Yeah, or you're going to stab your eyeball into the head, further into the head. Nobody wants that. Oh,
Aw.
so cute. If you think he needs it, you can put a little black line in the mouth. See, these guys I didn't do with the muzzle poofs. I did these first. This guy and this guy have the muzzle poofs. And I like it. I will like it. So you just roll like a black thread, and then with a stronger needle, stab the mouth line. You can help him smile if he needs a little smile. There. Seals are fun.
They're cute.
Yeah. And I love that you can make so many. And they make great ornaments. I should have said that. You can put a fishing line, if you put it sort of back right between the front fins and the shoulder, that'll balance it and it can go on a tree.
Yeah, they could sit on the branch too.
Yes.
Without
Oh, they
line.
could totally sit on a branch. True. And once you've done these, then you will be ready to do one of our many, many other projects. Maybe something with an armature. Build up to, these are Felting University tutorials, bear, and, well, we haven't made the moose yet, but it will be. And there's lots of other ones. You can find us on Facebook. Our group is called Sarafina Felting Fanfare. Please join the group because there's tons of great support there. You can ask questions, so many people will answer, and you'll get help like right away. And our Facebook page is called Sarafina Fiber Art, and that's where we share upcoming tutorials and Fiber Fairy. You'll learn about the Fiber Fairy, and sign up for our newsletter on our website. That also includes coupons and all the upcoming events and news. And we hope you will all join our Fiber family. Yeah?
Yes.
For sure.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
We like to think so.
We have fun.
Yeah. See ya.